This court hearing was streamed from the Child Protection Court of South Texas, making it available for public consumption.
Okay, good morning again, everybody. It's about 9:25. We're going to go ahead and get started here in Colorado County. This is in the interest of April Guerra et al. This case involves two children. This is cause number 25-045-DCFAM-00037. This case is pending in Colorado County, Texas. Today's date is March 27th. 2026, and we are set today on the court's docket for an adversary hearing. This case has been previously set a few times, and today we are reset, hopefully for the last time, for a contested hearing if necessary today. This case is being live streamed in accordance with the Open Courts Act. I am currently sitting in my home county in the district here in Seguin, Texas. This case again is pending in Colorado County. We have announcements of the attorneys, and we'll start with the department, please.
Michael E.J. for the Department of Family and Protective Services.
Okay, Mr. Doyle.
Your Honor, Brett Doyle for the parents, Linda Hernandez and Ivan Aguillon.
Okay, the court does note that both parents appear to be with us today, appearing in the same box and on video. Ms. Anders.
Jessica Anders, attorney ad litem for the children.
Okay, so the court also notes at this point we have several, representatives from the Department of Family and Protective Services, potential witnesses, as well as, some assistance to some of our attorneys. Before we start this morning, I allowed the attorneys a few minutes to discuss this case any further. Mr. EJ, were y'all able to come up with any agreements before we get started today?
I know, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay,
so before we have opening statements, does anyone wish to invoke the rule today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so the rule will be invoked. Mr. EJ, if you can provide me a list of your proposed witnesses, or at least who you anticipate at this time, I'll try to get those people sworn in, and then I'll go attorney by attorney to see if they have additional proposed witnesses I can swear in and explain the rule to and excuse out to our waiting list.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'm going to start with Dr. Pearson, Stacy Pearson, Carrie DeSmith is the staff of the department. I'm going to be calling her as a witness. I may be calling Kathy Chavez as a witness. Miss Samantha Yeager is here. I believe is at Mr. Doyle's instance. I also have a Dr. Jacob Stevenson that is going to be logging on in about around 9:30.
Okay. Mr. EJ, I can't hear you anymore, sir.
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Okay, I didn't hear anything after Dr. Stevenson, Dr. Jacob Stevenson.
Dr. Jacob Stevenson is going to be logging on around 9:30.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Mr. EJ. Your microphone's.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Very, very softly.
Okay. Is it better?
It was good, and then all of a sudden it was not good. So, okay, so you have Dr. Jacob Stevenson, who I think just joined us. Anyone else, Mr. EJ?
I'm also expecting, I may be calling Dr. Gango. It depends on how the hearing goes. Dr. Gango and Dr. Sitagawa.
Okay, can you spell those two names for me, those last names?
Okay. Dr. Gango, his first name is spelled Shantaveer. Gango is Gangu.
Okay, and the second physician?
He's the third. The second physician is Jacob Stevenson. He's my number 2 witness, Jacob Stevenson.
Okay, and there was another physician after Dr. Gengu.
That would be Dr. Sitagawa. Let me spell that for you, Your Honor. His first name is spelled Seiji, and his last name is spelled Kitagawa.
Okay, can you repeat that for me?
Okay. His first name is spelled Seiji. His last name is spelled T A Kitagawa. Kitagawa.
Okay, and then Mr. EJ, maybe I missed it, but the department's representative today?
That would be Miss Carrie Smith.
Okay, Mr. Doyle, other than your clients, any other potential witnesses that you currently anticipate?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and then Ms. Anders, do you have any witnesses you anticipate?
No additional witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see who has joined us so far. So Mr. Smith will be the department's representative, so she will not be excused under the rule. And we have Dr. Pearson. Let's see who I do see with us. And let's see. So I do see Ms. Yeager with us here today. Let me go through the boxes. I see Ms. Chavez here with us. Also see Dr. Stevenson. And then I do not see Dr. Gengu or Dr. Takanagwa.
Yes, Kitagawa.
Okay.
The reason being that I didn't want to take them all away from their work, so I tried to schedule them in a way that they are spread out.
Okay, so if you will make sure that you explain to the last two physicians that are appearing that the rule has been invoked and not to discuss this case with each other. Okay,
Yes.
so for Dr. Pearson, Ms. Chavez, Ms. Yeager, and Dr. Stevenson, if I can get each of y'all to unmute yourself and then take, let's see, okay. Okay, so do note that Dr. Stevenson, or on the screen it's identified as Jacob Stevenson, Stacy Pearson, Ms. Yeager, as well as Ms. Chavez. If each of the four of y'all will raise your right hand and take this oath, please. Thank you. You swear the testimony you're going to provide in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so the rule has been invoked. The idea behind the rule is that no one knows what anyone else is testifying to until it's their opportunity to testify. Please do not discuss this case with anyone other than the attorneys. Do not discuss it with each other, any of the department representatives, anyone else. If you violate the rule, then the court can exclude your testimony or not allow you to testify at all. Additionally, you could be sanctioned or held in contempt. Generally, the rule is fairly basic. If anyone has any questions, you can ask now. If not, I will excuse you out to the breakout room. Feel free to work on other things, but please don't go too far. I do not know the order of the witnesses, so you could be the first witness or you could be the fourth of the ones identified. I will tell you, from my experience, the physicians typically go first, so please don't go too far. So let's see.
Yeah.
Stacy. Yes, sir, Mr. EJ.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't, Dr. Stevenson, I know when I spoke with him yesterday, said he has, something to do, after, later this morning. I don't know if he wants to go back to work, and I'll text him when I'm ready for him. I just need to take Dr. Pearson before him.
Okay. Well, I'll let y'all work that out.
Yeah, Dr. Stevenson?
Yes, I'll stand by.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Stevenson. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
So I'm going to move those individuals into a breakout room now. So we'll go one at a time. So Dr. Stevenson, Dr. Pearson, we'll bring you back here in a minute after we have opening statements.
Okay.
Let's see. Then Mr. Smith is our witness. Ms. Yeager, I saw your hand go up, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor, as luck would have it, my state computer is telling me that I'm going to have an automatic install either now or in an hour. So I will, I will go ahead and do the install now, but I may be rejoining back on my phone.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I still also have Mr. Adam Nunes as one of the department's witnesses. He is a staff of the department. I forgot to mention his name earlier, Your Honor.
and has he joined us already?
Yes, he's here.
Okay, then I will address him in a minute. Ms. Yeager, what you can do is let your computer do its updates, and then you can get back on with the computer, assuming everything works, and you'll come straight back into the waiting room. If you need to come in
Okay.
on your phone, that's okay too, but I know you'd prefer to be on your computer. So just let us do its updates and you'll come back. And when
Yes,
you come
sir.
back, okay,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Okay, so let's see. And then Ms. Chavez, let me move her out. Okay, Mr. Nunez, you've also been identified as a potential witness, sir. If you'll raise your right hand so I can give you an oath, please.
Yes, sir.
You swear the testimony you're going to provide in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Nunez, you are also subject to the rule. Did you hear my description that you are not to discuss this case with anyone other than the attorneys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just to let you know, Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. EJ, our attorney, and informed him that at between 10 and 10:30, I'm having an eye procedure done, but I'm going to stay online, and once I go into the room, I'll be able to switch over from my computer to my phone, and that so I can still hear in case you need me. I might not be able to see you, but I can still answer your questions with my phone if that's possible.
Okay. Just based upon having the doctors testify, I doubt you'll be necessary from 10 to 10:30. So, take care of yourself and
Okay.
we'll see you back in a few minutes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So if everyone will kind of look around with me, make sure we have everybody that needs to be excluded.
Your Honor, the foster mom is also one of the department's potential witness. I'm going to be asking that the foster mom be sworn in. I'm also, due to a statutory protection, I'm going to be asking that the foster mom's identity be, at least her name, be concealed for security reasons and for statutory protection. She's here also to testify, Your Honor. I apologize.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll move her back out to the waiting room. We must be able to both swear in a witness and identify the witness. So the witness we may only be using first names and initials, but we still have to be able to identify the person.
Your Honor,
Okay.
is Mr. Smith not testifying?
So Mr. Smith, I believe, is testifying, but the department noted that is their representative witness for the hearing. She's not subject to the rule.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and move the foster mother out to the waiting room, and then okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's see. Okay, I think everybody left. Is either party, the department's representative, CASA, or assistants to some of our attorneys. Okay. You get a fresh piece of paper here. Okay, so the court would like to hear our opening statements. And we'll start with you, Mr. EJ, whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, just I hate to interrupt, one quick housekeeping matter that the judge, you wanted me to do. I've got all of my stipulated exhibits identified, if you want to do that.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. So let's handle all the exhibits if y'all have some that are agreed to. Let's go through, since the petitioner, obviously, Mr. EJ's case goes first. Mr. EJ, what exhibits do you have, sir, you believe may be agreeable to the other parties to be admitted at the time?
Exhibit A is Dr. Stacy Pearson's resume. Exhibit B is Dr. Jacob Stevenson's resume. Exhibit C is Dr. Shantava Gangu's resume. And Exhibit D is Dr. Seiji Kitagawa's resume.
Any objection to what's currently been identified as petitioner's exhibits A, B, C, and D?
Not for me, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, so at this time, the court will admit petitioner's exhibits A, B, C, and D. And then Mr. Doyle, if you have proposed exhibits, you believe that there's an agreement to be admitted.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm going to go through, identify them, what they are, then I'll go through the numbers, the photos, R1 through 16 are all photos of the children
Okay.
with the parents. On bank records, and it skips to the 20. On bank records, Your Honor, they are 24 through 44 are bank records, and with the nuance of R25 is 25, and it's a 25A.
Can you repeat that? So there's a respondents 25 and 25A, or how are those identified?
Correct.
Well,
On the bank records, Your Honor, there's respondents 24 through 44 with the nuance that number 25 has a subpart 25A.
so is there a 25 and a 25A?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Any other exhibits you think there's an agreement to, Mr. Doyle?
Yes, Your Honor. And lastly, these are just videos, respondents 45 through 53. And that's all we have.
Okay, so there are no exhibits, I guess, from 17 to 23.
That's correct.
Okay, and then so it's 24 to 44 having respondents 25 also having a 25A, and then exhibits 45 through 53. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. EJ and Ms. Anders, any objection to the admissibility of those identified exhibits?
No, yeah.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so at this time, the court will admit respondents exhibits 1 through 16, 24 through 44, which includes both the respondents 25 and 25A, as well as respondents exhibits 45 through 53. Okay, so for those to be a part of the record, we need to make sure that, and we can deal with this here during one of our breaks, we need to make sure that both the court and our court reporter receives all those exhibits. As far as the exhibits that are videos, those are going to have to be submitted on most likely on probably a thumb drive due to their large size. I'm not sure if they're going to be capable of being transmitted by email. So my court coordinator, Ms. King's not here right now, but when she gets here, we can discuss that. If we have them, hopefully we can store them electronically. If not, you're going to have to submit those on a thumb drive.
And Your Honor, for expediency, it's my understanding that this will be something the court will review after the hearing, to be used during the hearing.
So we can take those up individually. I mean, y'all may want to use some of the exhibits during the hearing.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you how to marshal your own evidence, right. So we can kind of deal with those as they come. If we get to a point where you say, okay, everybody's okay with me reviewing those videos and not doing it in live court, then I can do those in chambers, after today's hearing or at some point. So let's deal with those as we go.
Sure.
Okay, so thank you for reminding me about exhibits. Okay, so now we have all those admitted. Ms. Sanders, did you anticipate having any exhibits yourself?
No, Your Honor, no additional exhibits.
Okay, so Mr. EJ, whenever you're ready, of course, ready to hear.
Yes, Your Honor. May I call Dr. Pearson?
Yes, Ms. Jones. Okay, and okay. Mr. Toronzo, this is Judge Stuckey.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the department got involved with this family sometime late last year, and after investigating the allegations that were received, sought and obtained emergency custody of Daryl Aguilon and his sibling, Alan Rivera. Your Honor, evidence that the department has to tender before this court today will show that Daryl Aguilon suffered significant brain trauma, and the department will show that that trauma is non-accidental. The department will show that this injury suffered by Daryl has caused significant damage to his brain, and he is going to be disabled forever. The department will also show that the family has not come up with any explanation as to how this happened, and the only explanation put up by the family is inconsistent with the injury sustained by Daryl. The department will also show that Alan Rivera was diagnosed with failure to thrive. The department will show that Alan, when he came into the department's care, was way below his expected weight. The department will show that he wasn't making any progress with his weight. And the department will show that after the department took emergency custody of Alan, the department provided him with medical care, and he has gained significant weight. The department will also show that ECI tried to work with this family regarding Alan, but this family rejected the help by ECI. The department will show that mom is also to be blamed for the injury to Daryl, because she believes that nothing was done to this child by the dad. She believes, it was an accident, if possible, and that she's very, very protective of the dad. The department will also show that mom was also part of taking care of Alan, and that she is also responsible for his failure to thrive.
Judge, we can't hear you.
Thank you. So, Mr. EJ, at the conclusion of our hearing, what orders is the department seeking?
The department is going to be asking this court to continue or grant the department a TMC of those children, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Doyle.
Thank you, Your Honor. Of course, we all know that the main goal here is to protect the constitutional rights between a parent and a child, and have those children with the parents. We've put forth, my clients have put forth names of family members, and everything's been disapproved, not approved by the department, I think on weak reasonings. Mr. EJ says that there was never any explanation given. Then his next sentence out of him is saying that, well, their explanation they gave was not consistent with the injuries. Well, he doesn't know that because he's not an expert. He's not a medical physician. It's been batted around that this could have happened in a number of different ways. My client, the dad, is volunteered to leave the house, and the child Alan was thriving. The reason that there was a problem with interaction with that child is he was afraid, and he was shutting down. And the department knows this. We talked about this, and so those allegations of malnutrition, I think, are just trying to bootstrap into the other child situation to, I hate to say it, but for a victory purpose. I think these children could be with mom. Mom can be supervised. The department already has nurses going out to the foster parents' house. And we've talked to the department about that. That same service can be provided to the mom at her house. Mom can take a course that's been recommended or offered by the department on how to better know medically what's going on with her children. But it just doesn't make sense to keep your children away when we have a situation that can be handled. And if dad's not in the house, and they're supervising 24 hours a day, and nurses are going out there, and the department's involved, I think we can alleviate this. We've got 9,000 pages of medical records that there's no way we're going to get through today. And, there's no way a doctor can talk about these records without their admission. I mean, there's too many problems with these records being hearsay. So I just think this is a case where we can resolve this and put these kids back with mom at least. All the delays have basically been witness problems with the department, not by my clients. They're very anxious to get their children back, of course. With regard to the nourishment therapy for Alan, every time somebody come out, it'd be a different person. And that child was, not reacting well to a stranger, keep coming, another stranger, another stranger. So that what was impeding that effort with the therapeutic nourishment of that child. So we're asking that the children be placed with mom, that certain safeguards put into place to protect the children. And the department can keep investigating their case. We can keep working this case. Like I said, there's so much a volume of records. It's going to take, a while. But I'm just asking that at this time that the children be placed back with the mom. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Anders, if you have a position at this point.
I don't have a position at this point, Your Honor. I look forward to hearing the arguments and evidence in this case. The injury suffered by Daryl at 2 months old was so severe that he was life-flighted to Texas Children's and has left him with permanent disabilities, which include being deaf and blind. I understand his family has a history with the department and a history of domestic violence issues as well. So like I said, I look forward to hearing the evidence and the testimony. I will be listening to see if I believe that a finding of aggravated circumstances is supported by the evidence today.
Okay. So, Mr. EJ, whenever you're ready, you may begin your case.
Thank you. May I call Dr. Stacy Pearson?
Okay, let me bring Dr. Pearson in from the waiting room.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Dr. Pearson. If you can unmute yourself, please. Thank you. And Mr. Pearson, I believe you were sworn in a few minutes ago. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. EJ, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Anna. Dr. Pearson, can you state your name for the record?
My name is Dr. Stacy Bernard Pearson.
And how are you employed?
Excuse me?
Where do you work?
At Baylor College of Medicine and Texas Children's Hospital.
Okay. I believe you are an associate professor. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell this court your area of specialization?
I specialize in pediatric hospital medicine.
Okay. All right. You provided me with your resume. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And Your Honor, his resume was attended and pre-admitted as Department Exhibit A. Mr. Dr. Pearson, all the information provided on your resume to the best of your knowledge.
Could you repeat that again? You went out.
Okay, I'm sorry. The information you provided on your resume.
Yes.
Mr. EJ, you're getting very soft again.
Okay, can you
I
hear me?
think you have a noise canceling microphone.
Okay, let me see. Does this help?
I can hear you a little bit.
I can't hear, barely.
Yeah, Dr. Pearson, we're gonna try to do better than that. Hold on. Let's let him work on that.
Does this help?
A little bit. Are you on a Bluetooth microphone or a regular microphone, Mr. EJ?
No, I'm not. Your Honor.
All right, there you go. I can hear you just fine.
Okay. All right. I apologize. All right. So, Dr. Pearson, my question was your 10-page resume. You are familiar with, you prepared the resume, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you stating that the court should, the information provided on your resume, you are adopting it as you speak right now?
I'm what?
Adopting it. You are adopting the information provided in your resume.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, based on that, and also to avoid further delay, I'm asking that Dr. Pearson be stipulated as as an expert witness, Your Honor.
In what area, Mr. EJ?
Dr. Pearson, once again, what area?
Pediatric hospital medicine.
Okay.
Any objections to the court taking notice of Dr. Pearson as being an expert in pediatric hospital medicine?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so court will recognize Dr. Pearson as being an expert in pediatric hospital medicine. You may continue, Mr. EJ.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Pearson, are you familiar with Alan Rivera?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell this court how you got involved with Alan?
I was taking care of Alan during the last 2 days of his hospitalization in early January of this year.
Okay. All right. And that was at what hospital?
At Texas Children's Hospital West Campus.
Okay. All right. Can you tell this court what he was brought to the hospital for?
He was admitted for faltering weight.
Okay. Does that also mean a failure to thrive?
Yes, faltering weight is the new term for failure to thrive.
Okay. All right. And based on your observation, can you tell this court what was your finding as to what caused that diagnosis?
He was not getting adequate calories to gain appropriate weight.
Okay.
Can I take
All right.
witness on board, Your Honor, real quick?
Go ahead, Mr. Golan.
Dr. Pearson, the testimony you're giving right now, were these your own observations, or are you testifying as to other sources like labs or other physicians that have looked at this child before you got to your diagnosis?
Other Hart and other physicians prior to the time when I took care of him.
So, Your Honor, I would ask, I'm objecting to, as hearsay, any information that Dr. Pearson is going to try to testify to that are not his own observations or his own diagnoses.
Any response, Mr. EJ?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, Mr. Dr. Pearson, as an expert, is entitled to review test results and make assessments based on those test results. He's also, as an expert, entitled to examine a child and also determine what may be responsible for what the child is suffering, Your Honor. As to other things done by a doctor, a specialist is entitled to review the medical history of a patient to enable that physician treat make an assessment and treat a patient better. A physician cannot independently, on his own, start to treat a patient without looking at the history or what medication the patient has been on, what services or treatment have been provided to that patient, Your Honor. So I urge the court to discountenance Mr. Doyle's objection as to reviewing the history of a patient by an expert, because
May I
it is
respond?
part of the assessment of a patient.
And Mr. Doyle, anything you'd like to add to your objection?
Yes, the law is well settled that the best evidence rule is not a rule of reliability, which is what Mr. EJ is talking about. It is actually going to the actual documents that a physician would be using in trial, which would be evidentiary wise, and of which I could cross-examine the sources, whether it's a lab technician, whether it's a physician assistant, whomever the doctor is referring to and relying upon. Okay, again, that rule of evidence is not for reliability; it's best evidence. So that is my objection, and we discussed this. It's hearsay. It's plain hearsay. There's no exception to this.
Okay.
Your Honor, I was going to say, do I?
Go ahead, Ms. Sanders.
I think according to Rule 703, experts are allowed to form their opinions based upon not only hearsay, but other inadmissible evidence, as long as it's of a type reasonably relied upon by experts in their field. I think that's been the rule for a while.
As long as the evidence has been submitted into the courts. Otherwise, it's hearsay.
And Your Honor, if I may further respond to the issue of best evidence rule, best evidence rule basically provides for live testimony by somebody who has personal knowledge, not relying on records. I just wanted to clarify that, yeah.
Well, that's my point. There are no people here to testify. He has no personal knowledge of the sources that he used to form his diagnosis.
Okay, I'm going to quote Texas Rule Evidence 703. It states an expert may base an opinion on facts or data in the case that the expert has been made aware of, reviewed, or personally observed. If experts in the particular field would reasonably rely on those kinds of facts or data in forming an opinion on the subject, they need not be admissible for the opinion to be admitted. The court is going to overrule the objection of Dr. Pearson to the extent, well, Mr. EJ, you need to adequately lay a foundation for any of the questions that you're requesting of the witness, but we need to make sure that his testimony does comply with the rules of evidence. So please go forward, Mr. EJ.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Pearson,
Yes.
when you attended to Alan, were you able to review his previous history, his record that was forwarded to your hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And does that include assessments made by prior doctors and any records that he was brought into the hospital with?
Yes.
Okay. Were tests conducted on Alan?
Yes.
Okay. Can you briefly summarize the type of tests that were conducted on Alan that you reviewed?
I reviewed his medical record and the reason why he was admitted to the hospital and his course during this hospitalization in terms of eye evaluation and other tests that we did when he was initially admitted to the hospital.
Was any genetic testing done to see if he was suffering from any genetic problem?
As my recollection, no.
Okay. All right. Now, so when you started treating Alan, can you tell this court what you did in your treatment?
Our treatment is that we provided him with adequate calories that should help him to gain weight. And when he was given enough calories, he did gain weight.
Okay. So when you say calories, are you can you tell us how these calories were given to Alan?
Through food or liquids that gave him some calories and protein.
Okay. Now, this liquid and food, are they special liquid and food that are restricted to the hospital or that can be bought outside, at the grocery store?
Food and liquid that could be bought outside the grocery store.
Okay. All right. So, how long did
Can I get
Alex...
y'all to hold on a second? We have a lot of feedback, so let's see if we can. I'm not sure who the feedback's coming from. Let's see.
Does that sound like that, John?
No, Mr. Doyle, your channel seems clean, so it's
Judge,
probably
if it
Mr.
helps, I think
EJ.
I think it came when Mr. EJ changed his audio setting. That helps. I know that helps. Sorry.
Yeah, that does help. So, okay, so Mr. EJ, let's try to maybe
Should I,
get a little
should I
closer
change
to
it
the
again?
microphone.
Should I change the setting again?
Well, that sounds okay. Okay, let's go ahead and continue, Mr. EJ.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Pearson, based on your last testimony, you said what Alan was fed with could be found, out there in the grocery store.
Yes.
Can you tell this court for the record, example of fluid and liquid, liquid and food that he was fed with?
He was given um, uh, uh, he was given toddler formula and regular table food that any kid his age could eat at that time.
Okay, all right. How long did he spend at the hospital?
As I remember, it was about 7 days.
Okay, all right. And within the 7 days, if you recall, can you testify as to the amount of weight he gained?
When he initially came in, uh, well, the difference in his weight from when he came in to when he left was he was down about 4 ounces when he left, but that is taking into account that he was not eating a lot when he initially came in and he lost a lot of weight, but he was gaining weight appropriately during the last couple of days before he left the hospital.
Okay, all right. Now, based on your specialization,
Mhm.
Well, strike that question out. You answered it initially, so I don't have to ask you that anymore. Has Alan been brought back to your hospital for any reason regarding failure to thrive since he was discharged from your hospital?
As far as I know, no.
Okay, all right. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Doyle.
Dr. Pearson, you saw him for 2 days prior to him being discharged, is that correct?
Correct.
And were you aware that this child had been in the care of a foster parent for at least 2 weeks prior to him being admitted to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And how long could it take? Is it possible that during that 2 weeks that he started to decline on his low weight and his malnutrition?
Objection calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Judge, it's an opinion.
Overruled.
Is that possible, doctor, given in your expertise, that 2 weeks could be sufficient for a child that age to decline to the point where you saw him and made your diagnosis?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you deal with many different races and cultures, correct?
Yes.
So, in your opinion, if you had a child that was raised on, I'm going to say Mexican food, beans, tortillas, things of that nature, that's all the child was used to since the child started eating. If the child transitioned into another diet, in your opinion and expertise, isn't it probably or probable that that child is going to shut down and not eat something different than they've been eating?
Yes.
Okay. So there's many factors that could come into play that could cause the child's diagnosis we just talked about, right?
Yes.
And is it true that it doesn't have to, it's not necessarily and conclusive that my clients did anything to contribute to that? Isn't that possible?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Sanders.
Yes. Good morning, Dr. Pearson. My question would be to you is, do you have an opinion on Alan's overall development as for when you saw him about developmental milestones? What is your opinion on his state?
Based on what I saw, his developmental milestones were appropriate for his age at that time.
And what about the lack of hair that he had? Is that something that is just differs with every child, or what's your opinion on that?
It's different for every child.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Pearson. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. EJ. Mr. EJ, you're muted, sir.
I'm sorry. Now, Dr. Pearson, Alan was brought to your hospital sometime around December the 29th. Do you recall?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, and are you aware of when Allen was placed with the foster parent? Do you have any idea about that?
No, I do not know when
Okay.
that was.
All right. Are you aware of the exact date that the department took temporary custody of Allen?
No.
Okay. All right. So, um, if Allen was brought to your hospital around the 29th of December, and the department took emergency custody of Allen sometime around December the 22nd and placed in a foster home, that would make it about a week that Allen is placed in a foster home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, based on your assessment and determination of failure to thrive suffered by Allen, is a period of 7 days enough to have him degenerate in his weight to the point of having a finding of failure to thrive? 1 week.
Yes.
1 week. Okay. Now, um, if as a pediatrician, if Alan was about a year old when you saw him, is that correct? If you recall.
Yes. As I
Okay.
recall.
All right. All right. So, and I believe he was drinking fluids like Pediasure, bottle. He was taking a bottle,
Mhm.
if you recall. Now, um, and we all agree that bottle, regular formula is not tortilla or a hamburger or whatever ethnic food that may be. If would a 1 year old, based on your experience, would a 1 year old be so used to tortilla and tacos that 1 year old would not eat anything else apart from such ethnic food? Based on your experience.
It, based on my experience, it depends on. It depends on.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. When he was brought to your hospital, did he have any problem adjusting to Pediasure, the fluid, and other type of food that the hospital was feeding him?
No, he didn't.
Okay, so he adjusted immediately. Is that correct?
No, no. It took a couple of days
Days
because he did
for him,
lose some weight.
for him to
But
adjust.
yes.
Okay.
One
Now,
at a time, please. Only one person speak at a time. Go ahead, Mr. EJ.
thank you, Honor. Part of the hospital's role is to have a conversation with the parents regarding the child's care. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did, based on your review of the records and your possible conversation with the parents, was there any time that the parents told you or told the hospital that this child needs to be fed tortillas and tacos or tamales?
No.
Did the parents at any time in collaborating with the hospital give any possible explanation for why Alan was not feeding or had suffered failure to thrive?
No.
Were you aware that ECI was working with this family before the child came to the hospital?
No, I was not aware.
They did not disclose that to you, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
So, Marion.
Mr. Doyle.
So, Dr. Pearson, you just testified that he didn't adjust to your food until a couple of days after arriving under your care, right?
Yes.
So doesn't that support, we testified earlier about him going to the foster parents, which was 8 days, not 7, and that it would take time to adjust at that point as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. And would you agree with me that the communications between the hospital, you, and my clients, that there is a massive cultural gap going on between the parents and your staff or yourself?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I'm sorry?
I said no. I wouldn't say that.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Well, we take care of plenty parents who have different cultures, and we have ways to overcome that gap.
Okay, do you have ways to, do you have any history with people that are fearful of what's going on in our country with deportations?
Objection
You
relevancy.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's
he opened
fine.
the
You
door
may
by talking
continue,
about
Mr. Doyle. It's okay. It's overruled.
So, isn't that also a factor that people in a situation that are fearful of what's going on in this country as far as deportations would be less inclined to speak to you with pure candid, like I would as an American?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And going to that, were you aware that the ECI, that they were sending out a different person every week, and this child was not reacting well to this person, these people?
No, I was not aware of that.
Well, if what I'm saying is true, which I'm representing it is, that's a longer time period.
Objection, facts not in evidence, Your Honor.
Okay.
You
I'm
brought
gonna
up
allow him.
ECI, sir.
Okay. It's overruled. Let's hear it. I want to hear facts in this case. Go ahead, Mr. Doyle.
Okay. So if ECI is trying to do some type of therapeutic nutrition with the parents, okay,
Mhm.
that extends the time period further than 8 days, going backward, that the child is experiencing some type of trauma or upheaval in his diet, correct?
Yes, it could.
So would you agree with me that not only is there the situation where he's not adjusting to these strangers coming into the house, but a different type of food, correct?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that there's absolutely nothing wrong with a child eating beans and tortillas and enchiladas and things like that of the Hispanic culture that they typically are exposed to from, when they start eating going forward? Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
So you're not testifying that the parents were negligent in their diet, the food they were feeding their child. You're not saying that, right?
No, I'm not saying that. I have no I can't make that determination.
Right. So just to sum up your testimony, as far as what I can glean, is that you're saying that in your access to the child within the 2 days and what you reviewed,
Mhm.
there are so many other factors that could come into play that would basically exonerate my clients from any negligence just by virtue of those possible factors coming into play. Is that right?
Yes, there are many other factors that you have to consider.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Sanders,
No additional questions, Your Honor.
Mr. EJ.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Dr. Pearson, before we let you go, there are a few things I'd just like to kind of get in my record so I have it all in one place. Can you
Okay.
confirm, Alan, how old was he when you saw him?
I'm not sure how old he was when I saw him. I don't recall exactly.
Okay, and this is a male child, right?
Yes.
And then during your treatment of Alan, did you have him placed on a chart for his weight or mass, like just how he would be as compared to peers?
Yes, yes. We always do. We always place them on the growth chart when they're admitted.
Okay. And so if you remember where was he in comparison to his peers?
He was on the low side of normal for his peers, for his
Okay.
age and height.
And, and is that when he came in or when he was discharged? So what time period is that?
When he came in.
Okay. And then you're saying, as I understand it from your testimony, you're saying he gained, we'll say, mass while he was at the hospital. Did his relative position on his chart versus peers change, or did he stay in the same area? How would you describe the change that you saw statistically?
It increased.
Okay.
Because when he came in, we did do a 3-day calorie count where we did daily weights on him.
And were you aware of any other medical diagnosis that he had? Had there been any other, ailments or disease syndromes or anything diagnosed in this child?
No, I was not aware of any other diseases.
Okay. And was he sick or anything when you saw him that you're aware of?
No.
Okay. Okay. So based upon my questioning, Mr. EJ, do you have any other questions for Dr. Pearson?
No, yeah.
Mr. Doyle?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Pearson, we didn't talk about this, but were you aware that Alan was born premature?
No, I was not aware he was born premature.
Well, he was born premature with a low birth weight. So in your experience, if a child is born premature with low birth weight, he's not going to be in the herd with children that were not born premature, correct?
That also depends. Most of the time, they do catch up quickly.
Right, but there's a catch up quickly. What I'm saying is, and I'm not a doctor, but although I wish I'd gone to med school than doing this, but so coming out of the chute, so to speak, if you got premature babies and you have healthy babies that are not premature, they at least are not on even ground coming out, right?
From the beginning, no, they're not.
Right. And so is it true that in your experience and what you've seen as a pediatric doctor, have you seen children that were born premature, that it took longer and had more of a lasting effect on their size, their growth chart, as a result of being premature born?
Yes, but most of them do catch up by the time they are 2 years of age.
Well, and I'm gonna go to your word most. Okay.
Yes.
Because interestingly, you didn't say all. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so at least there's the possibility, and that's, with the law, what we're dealing with on these standards, there at least is a possibility that if the child is not into the most category, that this could be a prolonged catching up, so to speak, with his height, weight, and other factors that I'm not fully aware of that affect, a human being when they're born prematurely. Is there a possibility that it could take longer if you're not the most?
You asked yes?
Yeah, I'm asking you that. Isn't it possible?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure in your experience also, you've probably had patients that the child was for a long time still suffering from being a premature born baby in whatever category that might fall into. Isn't that something that you've seen before?
In terms of their weight?
Well, in terms of everything that would lead to the child coming to you at that age and it being that child being diagnosed as malnourished or low birth weight.
It depends on the issue that they are having due to their prematurity.
Right, but it's connected. That's what I'm trying to ask you. It could be connected to premature birth, could be connected to anything that would fall out of the most category and still be a contributing factor to a child being under the medical standards of the child's growth.
Unless they have some medical issue that is causing them to not gain weight, if they are otherwise healthy, then The healthy ones, all of them, by the time they are 2, have caught up.
But as you testified today, you're not 100% sure that the child didn't have other medical issues that were not reported since that child's birth to a medical, to a physician. Isn't that true?
Yes, but
Okay.
we also did not see any other medical issues while he was in the hospital also.
Right, but that don't mean they didn't exist leading up to that, right?
Right.
Your objection asked and answered, Your Honor.
Okay, I understand the point, Mr. Doyle. You
Okay,
can move
I'll
on.
pass. I'll pass with her. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. I appreciate it.
Ms. Sanders, any other questions for Dr. Pearson?
Yes, just briefly. Dr. Pearson, with premature babies, how important is postnatal care to ensure that child's health and growth?
Very important. It's very important that they get the postnatal care. The most important things is to make sure that they do get the adequate nutrition that they need to gain weight, because that nutrition they get is also very important for their brain growth also.
Okay, and so if a premature baby, let's say, goes home from the hospital and doesn't get that care, what sort of adverse effects could the child experience?
The biggest thing is delay in development and meeting the developmental milestones, which would, and I'm talking about all developmental milestones, when they walk, when they talk, and that can have some lasting effects. Some long-term effects.
All right, thank you for being here today, Dr. Pearson.
I have one more
That's all I
question.
have, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. EJ, any other questions for Dr. Pearson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Pearson, during your testimony, you testified that most preemies catch up quickly, and some do not. And also, you testified during your examination by Mr. Doyle that some may have lasting effects. Now, could inadequate post birth follow-ups for such preemies cause those long-lasting effects on such preemies?
Yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Doyle.
Dr. Pearson, were you aware that the other child, Daryl, was also a child of my client's that had been in the hospital?
No, I was not.
Well, let me ask this. If this was an isolated event, there was no other child under the department's removal, what you saw with Alan, would that, in your opinion, rise to the level of a child being removed from the home of a parent, as far as any allegation of neglect?
Just based on the medical issue that he was admitted to the hospital?
Correct.
That depends.
Well, and I think I'm sure about this, but aren't there certain situations where you have actually seen a child and you are the one that reaches out to the department?
Yes.
Okay. Would this been that type of a case? Everything you've known, everything you've seen, and everything that we talked about. I'm sorry.
Reporters are confidential, so I mean, I don't know if he called in on this child or not, Mr. Doyle, and I'd prefer not to get into that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Ms. Sanders, any other questions of the witness?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. EJ?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Doyle, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have any other questions for Dr. Pearson?
I do not. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Any objection to Dr. Pearson being released as a witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Hey, Dr. Pearson, thank you for being patient with us and coming to testify. I'm going to release you at this time to go back to your day-to-day business, but I do appreciate you appearing today as well as at our last hearing that did not go forward. So I appreciate you coming to visit us twice. You're released at this time, Dr. Pearson.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, so it's now, I have 10:38. Since we're using an interpreter, I'm going to try to take a few extra breaks. So it's 10:38. We're going to take a break till 10:45. So here in about 7 minutes, we'll get restarted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor, I'm going to be calling Dr. Jacob Stevenson.
Okay, let me bring him in from the waiting room. Hello, Dr. Stevenson. This is Judge Stuckey. You can unmute yourself, please.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Stevenson, were you sworn in earlier this morning as a witness?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Mr. EJ, whenever you're ready, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you state your full name for the record, Doctor?
Yeah, Jacob Todd Stevenson, MD.
Okay. And where do you work?
At Texas Children's Hospital in Austin.
Okay. All right. You provided me with your resume of about 15 pages, you recall?
Yes, I sent the standard Baylor resume.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, that resume was tendered and pre-admitted as a department's Exhibit B, Your Honor.
Okay.
Now, Dr. Stevenson, are you adopting all that you stated on your resume as your description of your experience and all your accolades today?
The resume is true, yes, and it's a good description.
Okay, all right. Your Honor, based on the resume Exhibit B, I'm going to be asking that Dr. Stevenson be stipulated as an expert witness on pediatric surgery, Your Honor.
You said pediatric surgery?
Yes, Your Honor. He's a pediatric surgeon.
Okay. Mr. Doyle, any objection to the court recognizing Dr. Stevenson as an expert in pediatric surgery?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Sanders?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court will recognize Dr. Jacob Stevenson as an expert in pediatric surgery. You may continue whenever you're ready, Mr. EJ.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Stevenson, are you familiar with the child Daryl Agulon?
Yes, I took care of him when he first came to our hospital in Austin.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of when you took care of him?
It was in November of last year.
Okay, 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Doctor, in the process of taking care of Alan, did you review his medical records, what you guys call his chart with your hospital?
Yes.
Objection. I mean, are we talking about Daryl or Alan?
We're talking about Daryl.
Okay, let's make sure we're clear on the children, Mr. EJ. Go ahead.
Yes. I said Daryl Agulon. Daryl Agulon.
Let's confirm. We're talking about Daryl Agulon.
Yes.
Date of birth is 8/6/2025.
That's right.
Yes, we took care of him when he came to our hospital at Texas Children's in Austin last fall.
Okay. Now, and in the process of taking care of him, you were able to familiarize yourself with his chart, which is his records, and you also examined X-rays, MRIs, and every other examination conducted on him.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, as a pediatric surgeon, what do you do?
So our hospital cares for children that are injured, and in the role of pediatric surgery, we are the trauma surgeons that evaluate children. I'm personally the trauma medical director for our campus in Austin, so I oversee the trauma program But on the day that Daryl came in, I was the trauma surgeon on call, and so I evaluated him after he was admitted to our pediatric intensive care unit.
Okay. Can you tell this court what was your evaluation? What did you observe?
Sure. So he was transferred to our hospital for new onset seizure and unresponsiveness. He came into our pediatric intensive care unit. He had an exam that exhibited bulging fontanelle, and so they did a CT scan of his head. On the CT scan of his head, he was noted to have acute on chronic subdural hematomas. At that point, a trauma evaluation was requested. And so we evaluated him at the bedside in the pediatric intensive care unit, and then for multiple days ongoing, we managed his care.
Okay. All right. So, is there the trauma that you just described? Can you try as much as possible to describe it in a layman's term? What happened to his brain? Can you try to describe that in a layman's term?
Well, I can tell you the findings that we saw was blood and fluid around the brain, and evidence on an MRI that his brain had been without oxygen for some period of time prior to coming to our hospital.
Okay, let me interrupt. We're getting a lot of feedback. Let's see. I understand Mr. Trump, but that's why I stopped, because I was having a hard time understanding too. So let's let me mute Mr. EJ for a minute, see if it goes away. It does. Okay, so Mr. EJ, it looks like you've got maybe a microphone issue. Let me look at the setting. I'm going to compare my settings. So I don't know what settings you have under audio, but
okay, Your Honor, let me try to disconnect my second screen. Let me see if that helps. So should I be disconnected in that process? I will have to log back on because I'm using dual screen, and that may be the reason. So let me take that off. Take one of them off.
Mr. EJ, I think there may be an issue between where your speaker is and where your microphone is. I think one's feeding back into the other.
Right. So let me disconnect one of them. Let me disconnect my screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for being patient. Obviously, we want to have the best audio feed that we can. I do note that Mr. EJ is back. Mr. EJ, if you can unmute yourself, we'll test out your audio.
Okay, Your Honor, does that help?
There's still a lot in the background. Are you using a Bluetooth microphone or?
No. I'm not using a Bluetooth. Initially, when there was that problem, I tried to mess with the audio setting. So, but I'm trying to put it back to where it was. I don't know if that helps now.
Our Let's see. Okay, let's go off the record for a minute and try to troubleshoot this. Mr. EJ, I think maybe either the microphone's turned up too high. I'll rely on my court reporter, Ms. Sladen. Ms. Sladen, any ideas you have? I'm thinking maybe it's the feed is up too high.
I'm not sure what the problem is, but I know when he came on the first time, we didn't have all the initial background noise that was happening. We just had trouble with him coming in and out. And I would actually prefer that to this background noise because it's distorting everybody.
Okay.
Right, no, I agree.
All right. Let me know if I'm trying to put it back to the prior setting.
That sounds better, doesn't it, Ms. Sladen?
Okay, this sounds better.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try it like that.
Okay, so let's go back on the record in lieu era. You're questioning Dr. Stevenson. So whenever you're ready, Mr. EJ, if potentially if you remember where you left off, if you could back up a question or two. I just want to make sure everything's in the record and that we've all
Yes.
heard the same information.
Yes, the last question I asked him was to describe the injury suffered by Daryl in a layman's term. And he was saying there was fluid in his brain and he had no oxygen for a while before he came to the hospital.
Okay, so Dr. Stevenson, if you could pick up from there, sir. Let's see if it looks like you're muted now. There you go.
So, doctor, can you tell this court how long you think he was out of oxygen when he got to the hospital?
No, there's no way for us to tell that. It's an MRI finding that he had what's called anoxic brain injury.
Okay.
But there's no way to know how long or exact timing of when that happened.
Okay. And you recall that he came to your hospital sometime around October 27th or 28th?
Yes, that's right. October 27.
Okay. All right. And he was airlifted or life lifted. I don't know how the term that you use to your hospital.
I don't recall that exactly how he got there, but we do have a helicopter transport service, and that would be the most likely for the distance that he traveled.
Okay. All right. He was about 2 months or thereabout when he came to your hospital. You recall?
His age?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he was about 2.5 months old.
Okay. All right. Now, did you have the privilege of talking with the parents or reading from his chart the explanation given by the parents for the injury he suffered?
I didn't speak to his father at all. I spoke to his mother once or twice, but I didn't ask about the history.
Okay.
In the chart, I reviewed the history to be that the 2 days prior, he was vomiting quite a lot and was evaluated in a different hospital for vomiting. And then over the subsequent 2 days, the vomiting continued and his mental status declined. He was more lethargic and wasn't able to be awoken and then had a seizure.
All right. Now, this injury suffered by Daryl that you described, based on your assessment, can it just happen without any impact on the child?
Well, it's rare, but we don't presume anything up front. So Daryl underwent testing and evaluation from our hematology service to make sure that he did not have a congenital form of a bleeding disorder. And all of that testing was normal. So we decided he didn't have a problem with his blood cells or clotting disorder or anything like that. He was evaluated by our genetics team to look for genetic or inborn errors in his bleeding and clotting problems or with his brain, and those were all normal testing. So in the setting of a normal child with normal clotting parameters and normal genetics, this type of bleeding doesn't happen spontaneously.
Okay. All right. Can you tell this court what possible mechanism could cause such injury?
So the combination of things we saw, which was bilateral, both-sided subdural hematomas without a skull fracture, and with ophthalmology exam that confirmed hemorrhage in the back of the retina or the eye, that combination is suggestive of inflicted injury to the brain, typically from shaking.
Okay. All right. Now, based on your experience, I know you've attended to such cases a lot. Can you give this court an idea of how many of such cases you've come across in the course of your practice?
I would say at least dozens, if not hundreds.
Okay. All right. Now, can you describe to the court the effects of the injury that Daryl suffered, short-term and long-term effects on him?
Well, in the short term, there was threat to his life because of the seizures and because of the pressure on his brain. He required fairly involved intensive care to preserve his life in the hospital. He was transferred from our hospital to the medical center in Houston for advanced pediatric recovery and neuro recovery. And he, I believe, made some progress, but not a lot. I don't know what his long-term neurologic recovery will be, but he will suffer from the injury that he had for his life, however long that is. He will not recover to full brain function, in my opinion.
So he's going to be disabled.
I'm sorry?
He's going to be disabled in some way.
I believe that to be true. Children sometimes surprise us. They do recover from things, and I can't predict the future. But with the type of injury and the way the course went over the next few months, I suspect he will be fairly profoundly disabled for life.
Okay. Now, can you tell this court the possible causes of his seizures?
Well, I can't tell you all of the possible causes. That's not my area of expertise, but the seizures in the setting of the brain injury that he had are very common to have seizures with the brain injuries.
Okay.
We did ask for further neurology evaluation to make sure his symptoms didn't start from a seizure disorder, and he had no brain masses or lesions or EEG, that's the electroencephalogram findings, to suggest a separate location for seizures that would have predated his bleeding. But that would be a question for the neurologist more than myself.
Okay. Now, my question is, the injury that he sustained, could those injuries cause his seizures?
Yes, that's the most likely cause for his seizures, yes.
Okay. Now, let me reverse the question. Could seizures cause this type of injuries on a child?
No, seizures couldn't cause the blood around the brain or the blood on his retina. Seizures could cause the anoxic injury on the MRI, and seizures could cause his initial symptoms in his presentation. But once we found the subdural hematomas, the blood around his brain and the blood in his retina, that's significant for a traumatic injury rather than being caused by the seizures.
Okay. All right. Last question for you, doctor. If a child, for whatever reason, is choking, and does not have air flow to their brain, could that cause the injuries that you described that you observed on Daryl?
An objection relevance and facts not in evidence on choking.
Okay, I believe it's posed as a hypothetical, so overruled.
Okay. Go ahead. You can answer.
In my opinion, a choking episode with lack of airflow could cause the ischemia or the lack of blood flow that we see on the MRI, but could not cause the bleeding on the brain or the retinal hemorrhages.
Okay. So you add your conclusion of his assessment based on your experience and educational background is limited to possibly shaking baby syndrome.
And I object to that term of art, shaken baby syndrome. That's been discredited as a term of art.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with shaken baby. Like, let's just deal with the symptoms and diagnosis, please.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Yes. So based on your knowledge, your expertise, and experience, you are narrowing this injury to Daryl to have been possibly due to him being shaken.
Our conclusion in the evaluation of Dario and all of the imaging and his presentation was that this is most likely abusive head trauma. So we don't, to the point that shaken baby, non-accidental trauma, those are terms that we're trying to move away from in the community of pediatric trauma because they imply things that we can't state in fact. But in fact, his exam, his imaging findings, in the absence of any other explanation with a bleeding disorder, suggest abusive head trauma.
And I've been objecting to the testimony about being abusive.
Yeah, that's his opinion, Mr. Doyle. Overruled.
Thank you, Anna. That will be all for Dr. Stevenson. Thank you, Doctor.
Hey, Mr. Doyle.
Yes, Dr. Stevenson. I'm sorry, Dr. Jeff. Dr. Stevenson, good morning.
Hi.
How long was Daryl in your care?
How long was he in our care?
Yes.
Here?
You're in Austin, right?
In Austin. I believe it was about a month. I don't remember the exact date that he was transferred to Houston, but he came in late October and transferred in late November.
And what was your involvement with Daryl's treatment under your hospital for 1 month?
Yeah, so I and the rest of our team in trauma were mostly involved in the early care, but we stayed involved during his time in Austin.
I guess my question wasn't that good. What exactly did you do for Daryl when he was in your care?
So we evaluated him in the setting of the brain bleeds, helped direct the team in the care and the supportive care in the ICU with the assistance of the pediatric ICU team and our neurosurgical colleagues.
Did you perform surgery on the child?
I did not perform surgery on the child, no.
Okay. So all of your assessment was just visual?
Yeah, that's standard in our role as a pediatric trauma provider. The majority of pediatric trauma care is non-operative, meaning non-surgical, but it's care of trying to get a child to recover the best they can from the injuries that they have. So we direct that care and add in additional consultants as needed.
Okay. And you testified earlier that you've experienced dozens, if not hundreds, of cases. Is that you as a doctor individually, or is that your hospital?
I think what he was asking was background and experience, and I've been practicing in pediatric surgery for about 16 years now, and doing a lot pediatric trauma for a good portion. So that's me personally.
Okay, so dozens to hundreds, right?
Yeah.
And you testified and you kind of went down a list that you were discounting as being a mimicking cause of the symptoms. And I think you said there was no blood clotting. Is that right?
Well, when we see bleeding on the brain, the question is, did it happen from normal activity in a baby that has abnormal clotting parameters, like they bleed easier than they should, but normal activity? Or did it happen from an abnormal amount of trauma to the brain? And so in that setting, we do pretty extensive blood testing and ask the hematologist and the geneticist to be involved in that evaluation.
Okay, I may need you to dumb this down for me as a lawyer. So let's go through these lists that you've ruled out. I'm just going to title it blood. Okay, hematology, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And through the testing of the blood, what did you rule out that could have been a mimicking symptom of an abusive act against this child? What did you rule out?
I think that term mimicking symptom isn't very accurate. What we're looking for is there something in this baby that makes him more sensitive to bleeding with minimal trauma? And so we look at his platelet count and function. The platelets help blood clotting. We look at the other factors in the blood. Does he have an inborn error of production of those factors that allow the rest of us to clot normally and stop bleeding? And does he have any genetic problem with his brain that it would bleed easier than another baby?
Let me ask a different way, okay? If you had a line drawn in the sand, on the left of the line, it is abuse. Somebody has shaken the baby or hit the baby or something physical trauma to the baby. And to the right of the line, you had a hematological disorder or clotting or meningitis or birth trauma to the right of the line, okay? Isn't it true that both sides of the line could both go to the same focal point of retina problems, of brain bleeding? Isn't that true?
No, I'm trying to balance our language here, but I don't understand exactly what you're getting at.
Let me ask you again.
Yeah.
To the left of the line, some parent has taken this child and done something to that child to make this injury. To the left of the line, right? Right?
Okay.
Okay. To the right of the line, it could have been a genetic condition, which is not a nefarious act committed by a parent toward the child. It's a genetic condition, okay? That's to the right of the line, right?
Okay.
Now, couldn't a genetic condition also portray itself as the same as an abusive side of the line, on the left side of the line, on injuries?
Yes, that's exactly why when we first saw Dario, we engaged other consultant experts to rule out or take away the right of the line. So in your example there, to the left of the line is abusive trauma. To the right of the line are medical conditions. We start as unbiased providers and we start ruling things out. And everything to the right of the line was ruled out, which leaves trauma inflicted to this baby's brain.
Well, but I didn't hear you.
It's not our job as physicians, but everything about his clinical care, once we ruled out all the medical reasons that they could have happened, lead us to the conclusion he was a normal baby and his brain was abused.
Okay, but I didn't hear you testify about birth trauma. The child was born premature. I didn't hear you testify about that factor. Did you rule that factor out as being something that could cause a similar symptom? Did you rule that out through birth trauma?
The acute on chronic bleeding that was seen on his scans suggests that the injury happened in the days leading up to it, not the months. And the child was over 2 months old.
I love the word suggests in your world, but my world, that's a strange world. Could you conclusively rule out, not suggest, could you conclusively rule out birth trauma as being a factor that could have caused, and I'm gonna keep using the word mimic, that could mimic an abuse situation? Did you rule that out?
That was not and will not be my role, and so I
Okay.
can't testify on that.
Okay. But did you know through your treatment of the child that this child was born prematurely? Did you know that?
Yes.
And educate me on premature birth, but is a premature birth, can that, is that a traumatic, to cause trauma to the baby being premature?
Severe prematurity can make not trauma, but can affect the brain for sure.
Okay, but it could also cause the retina problems and the brain bleed too, right? Premature?
Not just prematurity alone, no. Not in my experience.
Well, and you're the doctor, the studies show that there is evidence to support mimicking factors such as premature birth trauma, that can present themselves as if the child was shaken, like it's being alleged in this case. Aren't there medical studies that show that there's mimicking factors?
So, mimicking factors again is not a term I agree with. But to be clear, this child was born at 37 weeks. The risk of spontaneous brain bleeding from prematurity at 37 weeks out of 40 weeks is very close to zero.
But are you 100%?
The presentation of the clinical picture and imaging findings that we have now at 2 months of life, 2.5 months after 37-week birth without a long NICU stay and all the other confounding variables that happen in the NICU.
But you can't be 100% of that, right? Yes or no?
I did not take care of this child in his NICU stay, so I can't comment on that.
Okay.
But he had bleeding that happened in the days to week leading up to his presentation here, not 2 months. And
I understand.
Not a mimicking thing.
Okay. What about metabolic disorders? What is a metabolic disorder?
Metabolic disorder is where any of the processes in your body that convert chemicals that work out electrolytes that create hormones is off.
Okay. Would you agree with me that a metabolic disorder could also cause the same type of injuries that you witnessed in this child?
No.
Why not?
No. A medical disorder or a metabolic disorder does not cause bleeding on the brain.
So glutaric aciduria would not cause bleeding on the brain?
Not in and of itself, to my understanding.
Well, what is your understanding of glutaric aciduria?
It's one of a large list of metabolic disorders that I'm not an expert in, so I can't testify to that or presume anything. But
okay,
metabolic disorders can place children at risk for bleeding with minor trauma. Again, he was evaluated and deemed to not have any inborn errors of metabolism or coagulation problems or anything else.
But it sounds like from your testimony, you can't tell me or you can't tell this court either way definitively whether the glutaric aciduria could have caused or not caused the injuries of this child. You can't be definitive because that's not your expertise and you're just speculating, right?
I cannot be definitive on this glutaric acid question.
Okay. What about infections along the way before the child got to you, like meningitis or any infection that could cause an injury to a child, such as this injury to this child?
Meningitis does not cause bleeding in or on the brain or in the retina, in my experience.
Well, okay, let's go beyond your experience. What about in your field of medicine? I mean, I know that meningitis can affect the brain. Am I right?
Meningitis can absolutely affect the brain.
Okay.
It
And
doesn't cause the pattern of bleeding that he presented with. That's my point. As a pediatric trauma provider, I'm evaluating him for bleeding on the brain, bleeding in the retina, and the consequences of that. Meningitis could definitely cause the clinical picture that we first saw, but once we see the bleeding on the brain, it changes the picture.
So you're saying with your expertise and training that you're testifying definitively that an infection such as meningitis is 100% ruled out as a possible factor that could cause these injuries?
Your Honor, objection asked and answered, Your Honor.
Not really.
The witness answered the question. He said meningitis can cause something, but not as serious as the injury found on the child.
Overruled if the doctor has an opinion of that or a position.
Did you mean to repeat my question, Your Honor? I'm sorry,
sure.
Doctor. So you're testifying today 100% conclusive that an infection such as meningitis could not have caused the injuries in this child. Is that your testimony?
You know, and I'm sure it's true in the legal world as it is in the medical world, 100%, absolute zeros and hundreds. We don't talk
Just yes or no.
Just preponderance of evidence. And in this child, the way Dario presented to us with my experience and the experience of the multiple consultants that I engaged, the conclusion was this did not happen from meningitis. This happened from some type of trauma to the brain. And we evaluated, is he at higher risk for trauma to the brain or not? And we determined he was a normal baby from that standpoint. So he had bleeding on the brain, and ergo, his brain was injured. It didn't happen because of meningitis.
Okay. To sum up with you, is it your testimony today to this court that you're 100% sure that the dad or the mom in this case injured that child on purpose?
I didn't say anything at all about the dad or the mom in this case.
Okay. Right. And
our conclusion about Dario's care was that his brain was injured by inflicted trauma.
Okay. And inflicted trauma could be other things other than a physical act, such as metabolic.
No.
Congenital. Yeah, I'm not saying it did. I'm saying in your own testimony, you're saying other factors could come into play.
Okay, Mr. Doyle, I've heard the testimony.
Hey, Judge. I'm sorry.
I've taken profuse notes. So you're allowed to summarize the physician's testimony and see if he agrees, but I've heard the testimony. So go ahead, Mr. Doyle.
Why? Okay, so thanks, Judge. Why was the child removed from your facility and transported to, I think, Houston?
Child was transported to Houston for a higher level of neurologic care because he was still exhibiting severe symptoms from his brain injury, required neurologic rehab and advanced neurology support that we didn't have here.
You don't have that at the hospital where you work?
We have great neurologists and we have good therapy services, but we don't have the advanced neuro therapy that he needed. He also lives closer to Houston than to Austin and was transported here due to hospital capacity issues. So we're trying to get him a little closer to home as well.
Have you followed up with his care since he's been in the Houston hospital?
No, I haven't.
So you have not seen any further reports from people such as yourself with your expertise as a surgeon that's been looking and treating this child? You've not followed up with that?
I haven't seen him. I've seen the notes in the chart from the medical center in Houston and reviewed notes from the public health child abuse physician, reviewed notes from his neurology team, but I haven't personally evaluated him.
Okay. And how recent or how current are those notes?
Well, he's still being seen as recently as this month.
Okay. How far back did you review what was being done in Houston?
Well, when I was asked to testify, I was able to look at his chart, see his notes, and his get a sense of where he's at now.
Do you remember when that was?
When I looked at his chart was yesterday and again this morning.
Okay. All right. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Anders.
Yes, Dr. Stevenson. Did any of the testing that Daryl underwent at your hospital reveal any previous brain injuries?
It did not reveal any previous, but it's a tough question to answer. It showed what we call acute on chronic subdural hematoma, meaning there was more recent bleeding and bleeding that's unable to say the time frame.
Okay, and was Daryl determined to be blind when under your care?
He was determined by our ophthalmology team to have severe retinal hemorrhage associated with likely abusive trauma. And he was not responding to visual cues, but we were not able at that time frame to say that he was conclusively blind.
Okay, and what about his hearing? Were any tests done to see if he could hear?
To my understanding, we weren't able to do definitive hearing test. He was still in our intensive care unit. That's generally something that's done a little later on in recovery.
Okay, and what was the child's mother's explanation for his injury?
I don't personally recall her explanation. I know our team was able to speak with her quite a lot. I think there was a explanation relative to the vomiting episode and potential choking, but it was unclear to me the exact scenario that led to the child coming to our hospital.
Okay, and I think you said that Daryl underwent testing for genetic disorders. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And aren't metabolic disorders genetic?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Stevenson. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. EJ.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Dr. Stevenson, if Daryl had suffered this brain injury in the course of birth, he would have exhibited symptoms that would lead him to be taken to the hospital and this injury detected within days of birth. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, is that he would have presented sooner from birth trauma, but that is a better question for a neonatologist or a neurologist. My role is evaluating the child for injury and treating any injuries that happen after the neonatal period.
Okay, and for emphasis, you testified that based on your examination of Daryl, this brain injury, the brain bleed and injury may have happened within days of you examining him.
That was the conclusion from the whole team that evaluated, including myself, is that it was in recent days prior to admission to our hospital.
Okay, all right. Now, Daryl's situation was referred to an in-house doctor, child abuse team. Is that correct?
His case was reviewed by a child abuse expert at the medical center, Texas Children's Medical Center in Houston, after his transfer.
Okay, and based on your review of the chart, this happened sometime around December the 1st or 2nd of last month.
I'm objecting to hearsay to any testimony about an abuse team that has nothing to do with a physician making a diagnosis.
Yeah, Mr. EJ, Dr. Stevenson provided medical care to the child. If you have a child abuse pediatrician that you plan on calling as a witness, let's hear from that witness live.
Okay.
I don't want to hear what opinion, if all, a child abuse pediatrician had about this case through Dr. Stevenson.
Okay. All right. That'll be all for Dr. Stevenson. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Doyle, any other questions for Dr. Stevenson?
No, Your Honor. Thank you, Dr. Stevens.
And Ms. Anders, any other questions for Dr. Stevenson?
No, Your Honor.
Dr. Stevenson, thank you for being here today. I'm going to excuse you as a witness at this time. I appreciate you being here since I'm the fact finder in this case. Your testimony will be helpful to me in making a decision. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Mr. EJ, who do you anticipate being your next witness? I just want to make sure we have that person with us.
May I call the dad in this case?
You can call anybody you want. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a physician that wasn't with us yet. So hold on a second.
Right now, I am going to release, or should I say, this countenance with my proud desire to call Dr. Shantavia Gangu, because I don't believe he has anything in addition to what Dr. Stevenson has testified to, and I would hate to clog the court's time and resources, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine. So you anticipate your next witness being the father in this case, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Doyle, have you had an opportunity to go over your client's Fifth Amendment rights and how to use those?
I probably need to do that again, Your Honor, if I could be in a breakout room with him.
Okay, well, hopefully that's going to work smoothly. Let me see if I can it'll be you, our interpreter, Mr. Toronzo, as well as the parents in a breakout room. So
Your Honor, my paralegal is a Spanish speaker. He's there with them, unless you just want the interpreter there.
Well, I just want to make sure that your clients understand their Fifth Amendment rights, and then I'm going to ask them once they're called if they understand their rights, if they've been explained to them, and then if they wish to invoke that right, how they're going to do that as to each question. So
Correct.
I'll make sure that somebody's had that conversation with them.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Roy, if you can confirm that for me. If not, I can go ahead and put y'all in a breakout room if you would like that better.
Yeah, if you do a breakout room, Your Honor, that'd be great.
Okay, so we're going to try that. Room. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up that breakout room now. Okay, let's go ahead and go back on the record. And in the interest of Lou Era, I've had an opportunity to discuss a couple of matters in chambers with the attorneys, mainly about our interpretation services and making sure that we have good interpretation. It's the opinion of the court at this point that we would do better with live interpretation services in an in-person hearing. So there's an agreement to recess this case until April the 10th, 2026, starting at 10 a.m. That will be an in-person setting in Columbus, Texas. We're going to have to check on the courtroom as well as the availability of court reporters and other matters. But please currently schedule yourselves to be here on April the 10th for an in-person hearing in Columbus, Texas.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. I think you're muted, Judge.
Sí, ya lo agendamos.
Wow, I've been talking to no one over here. Okay, so what's that? Okay, well, let me see though. Okay, I don't know what point I got muted. Maybe I reached out and touched something. So let me just start over again. So we're back on the record in Luera. I had an opportunity to discuss this case in chambers with the attorneys. We discussed several matters, including the interpretation services. It's the opinion of the court that we would have a better opportunity to have interpretation if it was done in person with an interpreter standing next to Mr. Aguilar as well as Mr. Hernandez. So the court is, by agreement of the attorneys, is going to reset this case to April the 10th. That will be an in-person setting in Columbus, Texas.